Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Griever Productions and to episode 2 of Saturdays Are for the Voice. So just before we begin, please do leave a like on the video. It really does help. In the description below, we have our Patreon, our merch, and our Discord if you would like to join in the conversations there. Now, you've probably heard me harp on about this sort of thing in many different videos that I've put out at this point, talking about vowel sounds, how when we sing, we fall into what is known as the Latin vowel sound. So we've got A, E, O, and U. And fact of the matter is, when we sing, we fall into using these, and they are incredibly important. Now, the reason that they are so important is when it comes to holding a note, we don't want to focus on the consonants. When it comes to holding the note, we can only really hold them on the vowel sounds. Now, as an example, something that I would like you to do at this point, right, is try to sing a note on the S sound. So, S. Now, what I imagine a lot of you have done at that point is you've gone S, and then you've fallen into Z, which is Z. You can't actually sing a note on a S sound. And these vowel sounds are super important, not only because that is what is used to elongate a word in a song, it usually can be the difference between hitting a note and not hitting a note. For instance, if it's in the top of somebody's range, you might be able to hit that note if you're singing an R vowel, but not necessarily if you're singing an E vowel. And this is because every singer is made up differently. Some vocalists will have vowels that they are incredibly good at, and they will have ones that they struggle with. For me, right, R's, A's, and O's are my jam. Oo's and E's tend to be less easy for me. So, what we can actually do in those circumstances is we can actually change them. Now, the easiest example, and the one that I tend to go to in this situation, right, is the song Metropolis Part 1 by Dream Theater. It tends to have a very easy trajectory in showing people what you can do with the vowel sounds. For instance, the first line is, "The smile of dawn arrived early May." The smile of dawn. So this, in the smile word, the smile, so that's an R vowel in there, right? So we focus on that. The smile of dawn. But in dawn, we have a couple of choices. Dawn, or if you don't like the O vowel, you can go, the smile of dawn, the smile of dawn, which is a super minute difference, but it can actually make the difference between getting a note or not, depending on what vowels each individual singer works best with. If we moved on, she carried a gift from her home. That's an O vowel again. She carried a gift from her home. Now, you can again change the O vowel into an R vowel. So, she carried a gift from her home. And it sounds a little bit more like harm. But this is because me pointing it out is making it easier for you to understand and to hear the differences, right? However, if somebody was singing this on stage, let's say you, as the viewer, right, you learned to sing, you went up on stage and you sang a song, and you changed the vowel sound to suit you, 9 times out of 10, the people in the audience won't notice that you've done it. Unless they have some form of training behind them, right? They won't actually understand the difference between what is written, what you've done, or if you've even done anything at all. So, to continue on with the first paragraph of that song. The night shed a tear, It's an E vowel. I'm not great with E's. I might want to change that. The night shed a tear, air vowel. The night shed a tear. Still sounds like the word tear, but it does sound slightly different. But if you heard me sing that, you would still understand what the word was. So this is something that we use all of the time. Now, what I tend to do with my students, the first time that we look at a song, if it is, so usually what we will do is we'll go through and do kind of warm-up songs, songs that are super easy that we don't really need to go too in-depth on. And then the first time that we go, all right, let's do this. This one's going to be a little bit more challenging. We start looking at the vowel sounds. Now, I teach them what the vowel sounds are, e, o, and u. And then what we do is we do it through spoken word. We start saying the words out loud. So, in this particular case, using Metropolis Part 1 as an example again, the smile of dawn arrived early May, right? So what I would do at that point is go, all right, well, so here's what we naturally do, and then have the lyrics printed out and write in the vowel sounds we think they are. And then sing the line. The smile of dawn arrived early May. And then we work out, all right, where did the voice naturally go? Is it what you've written down? And then we'd go, okay, this note you're not quite hitting. Let's change that vowel sound. And we write that down and see if that works better. And sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. A lot of the time, it can be more to do with your core pressure and the breathing as to why you wouldn't be hitting a note. But this is something that can actually make the job easier. Now, of course, we've reacted to absolute masters when it comes to using vowel sounds. Dimash, for example, insane. The way that he does his O's, his R's, I can't recall an oo off the top of my head, but he would have absolutely have done them. There is just so much resonance and so much beauty in them that he strikes me as one of those artists that doesn't necessarily need to change them. Eric Gronvall, what I have as a note here, actually, when he did the song Without You, he was incredible with his E-vowels and would tend to adjust to those E-vowels in order to make it work better for him. And I envy people that do evals so well, because for me, evals come out much tighter. They're much harder to get the notes out, for me personally. But he made it look easy, as he tends to do, right? And then you've got people like Ronnie James Dio. So going back to my masterclass video of Dio singing Rainbow in the Dark, we took a moment and expressed that there are points in that song where he actively is changing the vowel sound that he is using mid-word, which is not exactly a recommended thing, but it helped him to create his own sound, which is something you got to look at as well, because that's something else we talk about is the effect on the voice, A-F-F-E-C-T, as opposed to E-F-F-E-C-T. So, that would be my recommendation for new vocalists getting new songs. Pull apart the song. Get the lyrics, print them out, do physically print them out so you can handwrite on them. Make sure they can be double spaced. Actually, you know what? You can probably just copy and paste it over to Microsoft Word and just do it on there, right? But the way that I do it is old school. I print them out, read through them, write down the vowel sounds, and then try to think of ways that I can manipulate it to help to make it easier on myself. Now, a lot of people would think that this is kind of a lazy way to do it, but these are all tips and tricks that people use throughout the entirety of the professional world. Artists will always use them. Now, what I recommend you do at this point, go to your favorite artists, have a listen to them, have a think about what vowels they tend to be better at, because now that you've got this information and you go back and you listen to all of them, you'll start to go, oh, okay, this person's really good with this, this, and this, but they actively avoid these two, or whatever it may be, right? 9 times out of 10, it's usually a case of good with 3, not so good with 2. But there are the rare occurrences where people are good with all 5, very rare occurrences. But then there are some that are good with less, so they tend to narrow to narrow the playing field even further and just, change them to keep the 2. But yes, so have a quick look. That'll be your homework for this week. Go and have a listen to those artists. Have a think about what they actually do and how they're changing it up to suit them. But anyway, I do hope that this was helpful for you. Please leave in the comments below anything to do with the voice and vocal techniques that you would like me to pull apart and to discuss in this series. It's all well and good for me to come out and do these techniques and explain these different aspects, but what I want to know is what you guys want to know about, so that I can go in here, all right, let's have a look at this stuff. So, thank you so much for watching. Like and favorite if you enjoyed, subscribe, do all that sort of stuff. What's coming up next is our credit reel for all of our patrons. All of our videos come up 7 days earlier on Patreon, even for free members. So if you would like to go and support over there, you are more than welcome to. That would be absolutely amazing, and it would get your name on that final reel as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.